are solutions for quiz 2 for Math 211. You got 5 people lining up to buy movie tickets. How many different orders are possible? If Chris must be immediately behind Elise. So, I don't know. Would the front be on this side, I guess? Sure. Here's the front, and here's the back. So I got A out in front, and then B behind that. Him, her, I guess. And then Chris, and then, right behind Chris has to be Elise, and then Diane. Here's one possible scenario. But note that really we can kind of treat this like one person. So really it's almost like we got 4 people here and we're just trying to order those 4 people. So think about how you could shuffle those 4 people around. Well, we'd want to keep this as systematic as possible. So maybe I'll keep these 2 in the front and switch this CE person with the D person. And write that a little bit more legibly. So the D goes in front of this CE person. Sure, that'd be another way you could do it. So now I have all the ways that have A, B leading off. So let's try to keep this systematic and keep A in front, but now B is no longer in front. Well, who's going to be in front? Why don't we let this CE person be in front? Then if I'm keeping things alphabetical, I will go with the B and then with the D. But if I list this order, I should right after it list the order that switches the D and the B. Keep everything the same except for those 2 guys. And so what I've now taken care of is all the orders that have A first and B second, and all the orders that have A first and this CE person second. So there'll be 2 more that have A first and the only other person who has not been second yet, which is D. If I have A first and D second, I could have B third and then this CE person after that. Or I could have this CE person third and have B after that. I got these 6 possibilities right here if A is in front. We can keep listing possibilities. There's a lot more, but I don't think we have to. This shows my whatever. 6 ways if A is first. So logically it would make sense if there were 6 more if B were first. I could do the exact same orders that I just listed, except everywhere there's an A, change it to a B, and everywhere there's a B, change it to an A. And there would be 6 more if this weird CE person that I'm thinking of, like they're one person because they have to be right next to each other, they're attached at the hip. 6 more if this person were first. And 6 more if, let's see, I've had A first, B first, CE first, D were first. So how many total do I have here? Well, here's 6, 12, 18, 24. It looks like 24 total ways. I bet a lot of people end up just listing out all 24, which is totally fine. It's just a little bit challenging to get them all, make sure you don't miss any. So I don't know. I think that's the easiest way to get about it. How many are possible if Chris can be anywhere behind Elise? Okay, so this gets a little bit trickier. Let me just start listing them. A, B, C, D, E. You know what I'm going to do? How about this? Let's list all. Don't worry about C behind E. So I want to list them all, and I don't even care where C and E are. So I could go A, B, C, D, E. I could go A, B, C, E, D. I could go A, B, D, E, C. I could go A, B, D, C, E. So you can kind of already start to see a pattern. I'm just trying to list all of the ones that have A and B first. So A, then B, and I guess this is the back of the row, but that doesn't matter anymore. And there's 2 that have C third. There's 2 that have D third. There should be 2 that have E third. I guess those 2 would be a C here and a D here and a D here and a C here. So I got these guys. There's 6 here. And then as we kind of saw above, there'll be 6 more with C second. 6 more, let's write this to save some time. 6 more with C second. 6 more with D second. 6 more with E second. So that gives me 24, right? 24 ways to have A first. But using the same logic, there would be, deleted the whole thing. So let's do it like this. 24 ways to have A first. But then there would also be 24 ways to have B first. There would be 24 ways to have C first. There would be 24 ways to have D first. And there would be 24 ways to have E first. So what I'm finding out here is there's 5 times 24. There's 120 total ways. But you're like, wait, slow down. You're ignoring the fact that C has to be behind E. True. Half the time, C is behind E. How do I know that? Well, because the other half, E, is behind C, right? I'm listing every single possibility. So half of them have this person in front of this person, and half have this person in front of this person. Half the time, C is behind E. So the answer is 60. 60 being half of 120. 10 extra credit points. How many orders are possible if there are 10 people, but person A has to come before person B, and person C has to come before person D? Okay, this is a pretty challenging problem. The way you can think about it is you have kind of 10 choices. So ignore the criteria. Ignore A before B and C before D. And you have 10 choices for first in line, 9 choices for second in line, because you've already chosen who's first, so there's only 9 people left to choose from. 8 for who's third in line, and so on. So total ways will be 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, because I'd have 7 ways for who's fourth in line, 6 ways for who's fifth in line, 5 ways, 4 ways, 3 ways, 2 ways, and finally when I get to the end of the line, there'd only be 1 person I could put at the end of the line because I would have chosen everybody else. There's this many total ways, but only 1/4 of them have A before B and C before D. How do I know that? Because half the time A is before B and half the time is B before A. So half the time it satisfies this criteria. And then half the time C is before D and half the time D is before C. So half the time it satisfies this criteria. So half times half gives me 1/4. So if I do 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 and divide that by 4, I should get my answer. I could pull out a calculator to do that, or I could just let you calculate that. I wonder if I could do that in my head. Kind of doubt it. I guess the 4s would cancel out. Okay, here's a calculator. Just in time. 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 if you want, divided by 4, which I suppose I could have left that off and just left off this 4. But here we are. The answer is, whoa, 907,200. And that is probably beyond what most people could figure out on this quiz. Hence, it's extra credit. So I bet a lot of people don't even look at that part, but there's the answer in case you did.